At this time, I would like to turn it over to my colleague Dave Hardy to give us a more detailed review of the findings of the benefits blueprint. David?
Thank you, Bob. I'd like to start by saying just my congratulations to Bob and members of the working group. Often when I'm working around the world, I'm hired to deal with some of the challenges that are coming with growth. This is an unprecedented effort to get in front of growth and do some really advanced planning. It's already getting attention from around the world, so this is a really important piece of work. I want to share with you some of the research that we came up with. And we had a team of economists and engineers and planners and economic development specialists and social scientists as well from across Canada and from all through the United States as well. So we had a very strong team working on about 8 months' worth of research. We looked at what lessons can we learn from elsewhere as one of the first pieces of work that we wanted to look at. And we looked at, we interviewed people throughout Alberta, and also our work took us to Ireland as well. We compared the situation in Alberta and some of the how they're handling infrastructure and so on, and concluded that we're really not looking at an Alberta sort of model here. We have a mature province, we have mature infrastructure facilities with growth happening in the vicinity of a city that has capital facilities and institutions and able to address a fair amount of growth. The Ireland model better fits our needs because Ireland, through a liberalization tax regime and access to EU, decided to take an organic approach to growth, investing in people, investing in our economy and education and so on. And they've done very well. So we've seen this more of a Celtic Tiger sort of model. Another piece of research that we felt we really had to drill down in is just the global labor force trends. We're in competition here to get, first of all, labor in a labor pool that's highly skilled, that's aging right around the world, particularly in the energy sector, but other sectors as well. So we're competing against Dubai and other sectors for labor. We're also challenging to compete with other provinces as well for the same labor pool. So we've got to really work hard on addressing those labor force issues, making sure we have a labor force that is going to help us move forward. The next piece of research we completed is, as we called it, a supply chain focus group report. How do we get all the businesses across the province to have advantages and all the employees across the province to take advantage of some of the growth? We held focus groups right throughout the province in both official languages. And we learned that some of the small and medium-sized industries were facing the same sort of challenges as that some of the larger Tier 1 and Tier 2 industries were facing as well. They're having hard times getting employees, and so we knew that we could create the circumstances to start to chip away at some of those challenges. We also knew that there needed to be an opportunity for them to link to some of the larger firms that were doing the initial expenditure as well. So it gave us some really good information on how to start to link firms across the provinces with the folks who are spending the initial money. We did find in our analysis, we did an input-output model, and so for every $100 million of expenditure, there's a significant amount that leaks out of the province, and we want to start to capture that as well, particularly improve our chances for the next wave of investment as well. As Bob said, it's people give permission, and we wanted to focus on, you've heard in growth that sometimes are those people who are marginalized or vulnerable, and we paid particular attention to how to make sure that they benefit from this expansion as well. We completed, again, extensive research, hundreds of interviews. We talked to people from AIDS groups and child welfare groups and social welfare groups to try to get a really good understanding of what sort of challenges they may face. We then reached out right across the country and found some of the very best programs that we know could really make a difference. Our recommendation is to let's give that a shot of adrenaline and to make sure that at the end of the day, everybody is going to be benefiting from the growth opportunities. We knew that daycare and early child learning was particularly important coming out of this study. And in fact, some of the firms we talked to say, we need the daycare and child learning for our employees as well. So it's an opportunity to make social change as well as economic change. We know the challenges. The question is, what do we do about it? Well, we know that effective planning means leveraging best outcomes. We took a list of about 125 initiatives and through an extensive evaluation process narrowed those down to 16. We created an architecture of the blueprint. We knew other things are going on, so those things that are happening nicely now, we didn't have to address they're happening. We wanted to focus on some key areas where it would help us to leverage best outcomes. I'm going to take you through very quickly some of those initiatives, and in the background information we've got descriptions of all of them. First, how do we provide priority benefits to, or benefits to those priority groups? We saw that child care, perhaps starting in St. John as a pilot, but also going right across the province in terms of improving and providing access to child care is certainly key in moving forward. Education for tomorrow, we wanted to focus on those youth that are marginalized or youth at risk. And we knew that we had a real opportunity to help them get into the workforce, to finish their education. And there's some tremendous programs across the country that assist with mentoring and scholarships and working directly with families and so on. Priority neighborhood capacity building is working directly with those neighborhoods that are currently have people at below the low-income cutoff rate, and some excellent programs as well as to, over a period of time, to help them with life skills and take advantage of the opportunity expansion as well. The social enterprise initiative is about those who are particularly hard to employ, and again, there's some really good programs across the country that are effective. How do we make sure that we have housing so that people can benefit? And don't, particularly local people, aren't challenged with finding adequate housing or adequate rents and so on. Came with an extensive housing strategy, and then also came up with a housing action plan focused on both temporary housing but also high-end housing, so that when workers come in and decide that we're going to spend the next couple of generations here, they have housing to establish as well.